So, Jason, we've talked in the past about the deprecation of the clientAuth EKU and mutual TLS, mTLS for public-facing TLS certificates. And we've talked about the dates around that. And one of the things that I've come to understand just by talking to enterprises is because these dates are shifting, there's confusion because there have been multiple dates that have been published over time as they changed. So maybe we can do a very crisp, clear declaration on what happened and what is happening so that we can try to clear up that confusion.
Perfect idea.
Okay. So how all of this went was this was imposed by Google Chrome, who has a long-term endeavor to simplify the use of roots down to a single purpose per root. And they're really focused on the web PKI because that's kind of their world. And they're imposing a process, which has been going on for years, where every root's going to only do one thing. And so part of that was that your public TLS roots that you use for web PKI certs can no longer have the clientAuth EKU for client authentication. Now, this declaration came from Chrome in 2025. And at that time, the deadline that they gave everybody was a hard stop of June 15, 2026. It's coming up very soon. Like, as of publication time for this is probably in the past. You and I are recording ahead of June, but by the time it's out, it'll probably be after June 15. Sectigo then set a deadline that was roughly 1 month ahead of that. So you said, if you're getting Sectigo TLS certs, it will be, I don't remember the exact date, but it was approximately May 15, 2026 would be the last day you would be able to get one of that. And then we socialized that very broadly. Okay. So that's step one. And this is the basis of why there was confusion, because there was very clear dates and we said we told what they were. Then subsequently to that, early in 2026, for a few reasons that we can get into if we need to, Chrome pushed back its hard deadline. And the current deadline is March 15, 2027. That's the hard deadline from Chrome. And in response to that, Sectigo moved our hard deadline out to February 10, 2027. So that is the hard deadline for Sectigo. The old May and June deadlines are washed away. They are of no consequence. They were numbers that were said before facts changed, and after facts changed, those numbers are not relevant anymore. And that's been the source of confusion, because I talk to people who say, hold on, something's happening in June and something's happening in March, and I don't understand the difference. And the answer is, what's happening is the June thing is now happening in March, right? And somehow, perhaps it's a little bit our fault, maybe it's the industry's fault, maybe it's journalism's fault, but somehow ordinary IT practitioners are trying to understand what these two dates mean and puzzling about what's different between them. And what's different between them is you can ignore the first date.
For those of you who were confused until just now, you can be forgiven.
Yeah.
Because
it's confusing.
It's confusing.
The way it was communicated to the market was confusing, and I understand why people are having these questions now.
And I think it's part of our responsibility as a CA.
Yeah.
And especially a CA that has a podcast like this, because we're supposed to be the ones, Google Chrome is out there setting the rules, but they do lean on us to make sure that that's communicated.
We tried to do it. Maybe we didn't do it as well as we could have. So if so, please forgive me. We tried to do it. We will try to make sure, Jay, you and I think for this podcast, but also just like in my role at Sectigo and your role at Sectigo as, one of the world's very largest CAs and CLM providers, is we think that we have a responsibility to provide information that the certificate, private CA, and CLM users of the world need. We try to provide it in a timely, accurate, and understandable fashion. I think we usually do that well. I think maybe this time somehow we stubbed our toe. So sorry. And that's the thing to understand. Those dates in 2027 are the dates, and the 2026 dates, you can just take them off your calendar because they're not relevant anymore.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.